On today's show, Jayson Tatum sets a new All-Star Game scoring record, 55 points, double nickel, on his way to winning All-Star Game MVP. And for the first time ever, we see the players drafted to their teams right before the game live, playground style. Standout moments from the game, why we didn't see the usual level of competition with the ELAM ending in the fourth quarter, and more coming up right here at Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, and welcome to another edition of Locked On NBA, the biggest stories with the local experts. I'm your host, Jackson Gatlin, also host of Locked On Rockets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious treat but don't want all the fat and calories that usually comes along with it, then you've got to check out Built Bar, because with Built, healthy is actually tasty. Seriously, they're so delicious, you won't even think that they're good for you. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, they're covered in 100% delicious chocolate, and they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond, cookies and cream, salted caramel, raspberry, strawberry, my personal favorite, coconut brownie chunk, but you really can't go wrong with a single bar on their menu. Every single bar tastes like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't even have to wait for them to show up at your doorstep. You can go in person to your local Sam's Club or Walmart, walk in and grab a box right off the shelf. Or if ordering online is more your speed, go visit built.com and use promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your very next order of the best tasting protein bars on the market. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off at built.com. Joining us now to break down this year's NBA All-Star Game is none other than John Karalis, the host of the Locked On Celtics podcast, who you can find wherever you listen to your podcasts and on YouTube. Just search Locked On Celtics. And John, we're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about All-Star Game MVP Jayson Tatum dropping 55 points, a new all-time single-game scoring record for the All-Star Game. The honors are now all his. We're going to talk about that, but we got to talk about the new wrinkle to this year's All-Star Game. First and foremost, the draft before the game, which arguably was more entertaining than like the first 3 quarters of this game to begin with, because the little back and forth, Giannis, LeBron poking some jokes, having a little fun. It was really fun having this televised and having it happen right before the game took place.
Yeah, I just wish they didn't drag it out as long as they did. Like,
the commercial break between the starters and reserves was brutal.
Come on. Like, look, there's a couple of things here, Jackson. All right, how much time do we have? I can go on old man. No, like, for real, why go reserves first and then starters second? Whose feelings are you saving? Because you don't want to see somebody actually pick last, and like Lauri Markkanen wasn't really picked last because he's a starter. But like, no. Just go from beginning to end. Just pick starters, then go to the end. And if somebody gets picked last, somebody gets picked last. So what? But that's fine. It was fun to see guys kind of like go back and forth, make their jokes. It was funny to see Giannis pick Ja Morant, 10 spots too soon. And
I was surprised he didn't pick Drew Holiday first, man. I thought look, maybe there's some tampering going on, Giannis canvassing for, trying to team up with Damian Lillard here, maybe trying to get him out to Milwaukee possibly with the first pick there.
Hey, or maybe he just knew that Dame was going to drop a shot from 2 feet behind half court like that.
There you go.
Dame, if it wasn't for Tatum dropping double nickel, like, Dame would have been one of the big stories of this thing for some of the shots that he was hitting. So you can't argue with that pick. You cannot argue with Giannis's drafting.
No, not whatsoever. Well, you can argue with the fact that he didn't realize Ja Morant was a starter and that he couldn't pick him.
Yeah, that part you can argue with.
Now, here we had, John, do you think that part was staged? Do you think, because it looked like Giannis was kind of faking it a little bit when he was going through some of his, some acting a little bit. Do you think he was messing with Ja, or do you think he accidentally messed up?
I think he accidentally messed up and it was trying to recover from it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
I think he just airballed the free throw on that one.
I do love too how we wound up getting the two centers on one team, Embiid and Jokic, both sharing the court, and then early in the game, right, we saw like a Jokic Embiid pick and roll out of nowhere.
Yeah. Of course. I mean,
there was just shenanigans all over the place in this game, as it should be, right?
I mean, at this point, like, All-Star Game is just an exhibition. It's just guys get together. It's a social hour. It's not anything serious at all. Those days are long gone. The money is too much. The risk is too high. So you just go out there. It just becomes alley-oop, free shooting, and whatever. We didn't even get the wild Elam ending. Like the past few years, the Elam ending really made the fourth quarter something fun. The fourth quarter, and this one was kind of blah as well. So it was just a matter of how many points was Tatum going to rack up. So, you're not watching this All-Star game to break down film afterward and be like, wow, that John Morant backdoor cut really, no, you're not doing that stuff. You're seeing guys.
I would love to see one of the teams just throw out like a zone defense just cause like do a full court press just randomly just to mess with the other team.
Mike Malone should have thrown like a triangle and 2 on Tatum, just to get the ball out of his hands. I mean, why not? At least one possession. I mean,
just one possession to throw him off his rhythm.
I'm all for the coaches getting in on the joke. Why not have like Joe Mazzulla should have called, his reputation is not calling timeouts. He should have called like 3 timeouts in a row just to mess with people. You know what I mean? I mean, as it was, he played Tatum the entire second half.
All on one possession, too. Like, he could have done, like, just, like, timeout as they're bringing the ball up, timeout once you're in half court,
one
timeout
pass,
as
timeout again.
There
like,
you go.
Just to miss. Yeah, so, Michael Malone, throw his own defense out there. Throw a box on 1, triangle on 2, just for one possession. Intentionally foul somebody just for one possession. Let's get the coaches involved in the joke.
Yeah, let the coaches have a little fun, too. I do think, look, at the end of the day, right, it was fun just watching these guys try and rack up as many points as possible. However, I loved Jaylen Brown pulling up on Jayson Tatum from 3 and then giving him the too small treatment. You know they're going to be talking about that forever.
The beauty of that, now Tatum and Brown, that might be, like, honestly, the best moment. The last few minutes of the third quarter, when they went one-on-one, I just see all the tweets saying, like, let these guys just play one-on-one the rest of the game. That was actually fun. They were defending. They were actually saw some defense there. Tatum got Jaylen a couple of times, forced them into like the not getting the shot off and forced them into a miss. But Jaylen got him a couple of times, hit him with a couple of too smalls. I love the too small taunt, especially between friends. That was actually a lot of fun. It was good to see those guys go at it a little bit. Though honestly, I had one moment where Jason actually went to contest a Jaylen Brown 3-pointer, the one that he hit in Tatum's face. And I thought he was like going to commit a landing space foul.
Just, oh man, that, and you know, he would not have let him forget that, right? Just, what are you trying to do? Injure me in the All-Star game? Come on,
seriously,
man.
I was like, okay, guys, you're taking it a little too seriously. You almost landed on Jaylen's foot. Like he almost landed on your foot. Okay. This was fun. Don't hurt each other. Tatum's the leading scorer for Team Giannis. Jaylen's the leading scorer for Team LeBron. This is a nice little story. Let's not ruin it by having Jaylen out for like 3 weeks with a sprained ankle because Tatum already broke Jaylen's face. We don't need him breaking his ankle either.
I desperately needed Jayson Tatum to get with the program, though, at the end of the game because everybody else on Team Giannis understood the assignment, like half-court heaves to try and win the game, right? Half-court heave. And then Jayson Tatum's, like, driving it in for layups, and then he's like, come on, man. Like, get with the program. Start heaving the ball.
No, he had a record, man. He's like, okay, you guys can have your fun. I'm trying to set a record here that maybe no one breaks. He's trying to get to 60, and these guys are all jacking from 45 feet. Like Tatum's like, hey, we've established here that I'm getting the MVP. Why not let's get to this.
Why not help me cement my place in history a little bit further?
You guys have been on board this long. Why all of a sudden are you guys taking these shots? It's fine. Like somebody wanted to hit that half court shot so bad, and Tatum's just like, okay, I think I've had enough here. Can I just go home? I won't put my feet up.
Tatum's just trying to wrap up the game so that he can head out of Salt Lake. But it was a fun way to wrap up NBA All-Star Weekend. It's always a ton of fun. Any other thoughts you got from this one, John?
From the All-Star game itself? No, I mean, I think it's just kind of like it wasn't the most interesting game, and I think there's going to be a little bit of kind of back and forth about that. I think some people.
I do want to see them revisit like the ELAM ending, right? That was something that made the All-Star games, at least competitive there in the fourth quarter, right? You saw the level of play kind of elevate in the fourth. We didn't get that this year. I would love for them to find a way to kind of get back to that for future All-Star games, because it did make, like, I was looking forward to the fourth quarter of this game, expecting the competitive level to rise, and then it kind of didn't, and that was a bit of a letdown, I'll say.
Yeah, I think the distance after the third quarter was a little too much. Tatum just got super hot and just couldn't miss from three. And I think just put too much distance. When one team says, well, we got to score 40 something. And the other team's like, yeah, we only got to score 20 something to get to it. In an all-star setting, no, they're going to be like, congratulations, you won. That's
here's
really
the trophy. Congrats, guys.
Yeah. It was just a formality, but whatever. I think complaints about what the all-star game is, I think it's kind of missing the point. Can we make it better? Can we find ways to try and make it more interesting? Yeah, but are we going to really put any of these guys at risk health-wise?
No.
So no. So you
just embrace it for what it is, right? It's fun.
Exactly it. Just embrace it for what it is. And every once in a while, hey, you get an outlier performance and somebody drops a double nickel. Great, enjoy it. Take another couple days off. Real basketball is back by the end of this week.
For more on All-Star Game MVP Jayson Tatum and, of course, Jaylen Brown, be sure to go check out Locked On Celtics for all your Celtics information. John, I appreciate you stopping by Locked On NBA with me.
My pleasure, man.